Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. Moved by Councilor Liev, seconded by Councilor Rule. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 2, addition or deletion to the agenda. There is none. Item number 3, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. There are 3. Read them, please.
Declaration of pecuniary interest, Member of Council Raymond Leliev. Council meeting date April 25th, 2018, open session. I declare pecuniary interest on agenda item number 1403 of the agenda for the above noted meeting for the following reason. My spouse is the complainant. Declaration of pecuniary interest, Member of Staff Margaret Hartling. Council meeting date April 25th, 2018, open session. I declare pecuniary interest on agenda item number 1403 of the agenda for the above noted meeting for the following reason. I am the complainant. Declaration of pecuniary interest, Member of Council Ed Dunnell. Council meeting date April 25th, 2018, open session. I declare a pecuniary interest on agenda item number 1403 of the agenda for the above noted meeting for the following reason. There is the potential that I may have a pecuniary interest.
Thank you, Julie. Item number 4, approval of agenda. Moved by Councilor Rule, seconded by Councilor Liev. Resolved that the agenda be approved as circulated. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 5, delegations and presentations. There are none. Item number 6, adoption of minutes of previous meetings. Moved by Councilor Rule, seconded by Councilor Dunnell. Resolved that the meetings of the regular meeting held on April 11, 2018 are adopted as circulated. Questions or comments? Yes, Councilor Dunnell.
Through the chair, I have 2 comments on that. The first one's with regards to item 17 of the minutes, business arising from closed session. With respect to resolution number 2018-104 found on page 8. Even though I was absent from this council meeting, I have reviewed the live streaming recording with particular interest to that resolution. I am in disagreement with the presentation of the resolution on 3 counts. However, this is not the time or place to discuss my issues.
Thank you.
And the second one is that I request a recorded vote.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held on April 11th, 2018 are adopted as circulated. Councilor Ed Dunnell.
Against.
Councilor Raymond Leliev.
For.
Councilor Sheldon Plummer.
Aye.
Councilor Peter Rule.
Point of order. Just a question.
Yes.
If a councillor is absent from it, can you vote on something?
No, we should not.
The person's not there. How can they go on the acceptance of it? On any normal meeting, if you're not present, you can't.
So, Councilor, you're referring to what?
The recorded vote on the acceptance of minutes that he's not here. Is that...
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really answer that.
Yes, Councilor.
Through the chair, one of the purposes of having live streaming meetings is that any member who's not present at the meetings can actually update themselves of the activities of that meeting.
Just a comment back to that would be teleconferencing or a person coming in, which you don't allow for. So watching, as a member of council, watching the proceedings is not the same thing. It's for the public to watch, not for members of council to be weighing in on something that you weren't. That's my thoughts. That's all. I don't know why. I don't know if this is right that we're voting for acceptance by a member who wasn't present.
Through the chair, correct or not, I would have to look into it through Municipal Affairs, but our practice has been that if a member is absent from a council meeting, that they do not move or second the agenda items. So I would almost err on the side of caution that we have never done it in practice. If it's incorrect, we can certainly consider it in the future, and I can report back to council on what the ministry recommends. So I will refer to the mayor as to protocol. My recommendation would be that I agree with Councillor Rule's point of order that we, as practice, have never approved it. Therefore, we wouldn't approve it tonight. Subsequent to follow-up.
Subsequently, we would not be asked.
We would strike this from the record.
Yes.
At this point. And you need council.
Yes, Councillor.
Through the chair, I was not aware of that kind of practice there. I'll withdraw my request for a recorded vote, and we can just have it done normally.
So does council agree with this?
Okay. One final comment through the chair. For both that meeting and next item, I will have to abstain my vote because I wasn't present.
Yep. Thank you. So again, moved by Councillor Rule, seconded by Councillor O'Donnell. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held on April 11, 2018 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Opposed? 1 carried. Uh, 602. Moved by Councillor Yev, second by Councillor Rule. Resolved that the minutes of the special meeting held on April 12, 2018 are adopted as circulated. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? 1 carried. Number 7, petitions, there's none. Number 8, disbursement. Moved by Councillor Plummer, second by Councillor Yev. Resolved that disbursement sheet number 2018-06, $182,370.19 as provided to council for information purpose only. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None carried. Correspondence, there is none. Item number 10, reports in committees. Moved by Councillor Liev, seconded by Councillor Rule. Resolved that the minutes of the Manitowoc Nuclear Waste Community Liaison Committee held on March 15, 2018 be accepted as received. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. (10:02). Moved by Councillor Dunno, seconded by Councillor Plummer. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Municipal League held April 14, 2018 be accepted as received. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 3, 10:03. Moved by Councillor Plummer, seconded by Councillor Dunno. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Health Board held March 21st, 2018 be accepted as received. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried? Verbal update by the mayor. I only have one small item, just to let you know that we're still in communication or trying to communicate with our neighboring communities, First Nations. And the last email that I received from Pick River was very negative. They are claiming that they are not willing to sign a mutual respect accord until we say no to nuclear waste. So I will respond to that and send council a copy of this email. I think we have to keep on trying to talk to these people so that we can move forward on different projects that we'll have in the future, not only in NWMO, but several others in the years to come. We have to somehow come up with an understanding of respect between the communities. And that's all I have for my update. Item number, any questions on this? Item number 12, verbal update by CEO, Clerk, Treasurer.
Through the chair, I only have one item to bring to council's attention today. Our website was ready to go last week, but with it being a council meeting, we deferred it until this week. So I believe it's going to go live near the end of the week, Friday. Jolene is the one who actually did all of the work on that. Kudos to her. It looks really good. We'll get it put on the board, same address, so that people can go and have a look, and we'll take comments if people find typos or links that are broken as we go through it. But it looks really good.
Thank you very much. Any comments? Yes?
Is it appropriate to ask just about update or what's happening with Golden Age and Manitou building?
I can defer to Mr. Cranny on that.
Certainly. We received the grant money months ago.
Mr. Cranny, could you put the mic, please?
I'm used to keeping the mic. Certainly, for an update on Fort and Manitou. We received a notice, I think it was a month or two ago, we actually got our grant money that we applied for to start the renovations on the building. So the main item for the Golden Age Club section is a universal washroom that will bring them into compliance with code for that type of building. As well, we plan to install a number of power door operators in the building as well to bring it into compliance. I spoke to the architect a week ago. He's drawing those plans up right now for us and the standard documents that work out to 10. And we will start also making a decision here tomorrow to have a look at the area where we plan to do service, that area where we get that stuff underway.
And through the chair, I might add that Mr. Cranny and I have both talked to the Golden Age on several occasions. They asked for an update. I just happened to be at one of their meetings, and I gave them an update. Mr. Cranny has been in constant contact with several members of the Golden Age as well. And we're still waiting on a response from them as to when we can expect to see their share of the contributions. They have not gotten back to us yet on that.
Yes, Councilor.
Through the chair, do you have a time?
No, I thought a week would be enough to prepare the plan. It's fairly basic work. I'll have to get 4 weeks in. Something over probably 2-week tender operating against the normal. Get a contract in.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Item number 13, bylaw. Moved by Councillor Rule, seconded by Councillor O'Donnell. Being a bylaw to establish a community well-being reserve fund, be read a first and second time. Speak on that, Margaret, please.
Through the chair, this is a request of NWMO. When we got the original money a couple of years back, we had to pass a bylaw in order to accept the funds. So this is just routine paperwork for the most part. We will, though, just so council's aware, be establishing a separate reserve fund for the second set of funds, so that they're not all blended together, so that when council determines what they may wish to do with that, or staff presents projects for council's consideration, the money is easily tracked.
Yes, Councillor?
Thank you. You mentioned in reading the report, it's very specific, or at least it appears very specific, as to what the funding will be, unless there are money over and above consistent in the report. Am I reading that correctly? For example, resources available, funding for administrative expenses, 125,000. I know how long that would be.
Through the chair, there's going to be a separate resolution come after the bylaw, so it's all part of the same package.
There are two resolutions. This one here is mainly for the $300,000 that is coming to us from the NWMO as to keep us in the running and to help us, the community here. This is very similar to what happened 4 years ago, where they gave us some money. And also, just to keep you informed, if we are still in the project in 2019, there is also the possibility of getting another $300,000 at that time. So this is really what that's about. Yes, Councillor?
So through the chair, just to help Councillor Donald, I think Councillor Plummer, I think we're talking about he's moved on to the next one, which is the resources for support engagement interest, which is not the same thing, right?
Correct. Two separate items.
Right.
Through the chair, there was a little confusion, and then the mayor met with North Sanford the other day and clarified what they specifically need. So we didn't realize until today that they actually need a resolution for the second component, which is why we prepared it. Council has the materials. We just prepared the resolution.
Yeah, the second resolution is coming next. Yes, Councillor?
I have two questions. Will this financial reporting of statement of expenditures be made available to the public?
Through the chair, it's recorded in our, not for this specifically because it's a reserve fund transaction. Anything that council passes, council will pass a resolution on how they're going to expend that fund. So they will either approve a project or approve a disbursements to whoever. So, yes.
And that will be public.
Okay. Through the chair, my second question is, will the township be allowed to benefit by acquiring income-earning assets from any funding received from NWMO?
The interest accrued on that becomes part of the fund.
What, through the chair, my line of questioning for thought on this would be, if we decide to purchase something that can actually generate additional income, would the township be allowed to do that with this fund?
The township would be allowed to do that. It would be up to council what they wish to do with that. What you're talking about is if we wish to spend some money on an item that has a return through the years, if council wishes to at that time, it can go back into the fund. But that is up to council.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And furthermore, be read the third time passed and numbered as bylaw number 2018-09. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. And this is the second resolution we spoke of a few minutes ago. Moved by Councillor Rule, seconded by Councillor Blummer. Resolved that council enters into a funding agreement to a nuclear waste management organization, NWMO, and the Corporation of Township of Manitowaj, the municipality, under the Enhanced Resource Funding Program. And I believe that's what you were referring to, Councilor Plummer. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? None carried. You. Item 1302, moved by Councilor Liev, second by Councilor Plummer. Second by Councilor Rule. Being a bylaw to authorize the entering into an agreement with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry for the grant of easement located at part of location CL 17046, designated plan as Part 1, 2, and 3 on RP 55R-13569. You read the first and second time. Comment?
Through the chair, I think my report's fairly self-explanatory. We purchased land and now we are entering into an agreement so that we can access that land through Crown land.
Questions?
Through Crown land.
All in favor? Opposed? None carried. Thank you. Item number 14 under business, 1401. Moved by Councilor Plummer, seconded by Councilor Dunno. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report number TR 2018-10, submitted by Margaret Hartling, CEO, Clerk, Treasurer, regarding use of corporate resources for election purpose policy. And would you speak on that, please?
Through the chair, if council wishes to approve this policy, it needs to be approved by the end of April. We currently have some language in our code of conduct policy. It's pretty vague at best. So this policy will be for the upcoming and further elections in the future. It's a lot more detailed and clearly spells out for both current elected officials, staff members, and those who may wish to run that are not currently on council, what resources are available to them.
Any questions or comments? Yes, Councillor.
If I may, thank you. It says no campaign-related signs around election may be displayed at any municipal owned facility. Buildings. What about land?
I actually, through the chair, I actually did think about it, and because of course people put signs on the circle all the time, right? The policy could be amended to include that if council wishes. I didn't know that council would be in favor of that, so it was a judgment call to put it in or take it out. But if council does not want it on any municipal property, then we could certainly add that and approve the policy as amended. That would include all municipal properties, though not just the circle. It would, Shrieken and...
Let me get this. I think what you're asking for is, would this policy is it legal to put signs on town land?
Yes.
And with this policy, it is.
No, we didn't specifically say lands. I left it out.
Yes.
Because I was aware that they always put them in the circle.
Yes.
But if council wishes to stop that practice, where that may also come up is when we get to our property standards bylaws and our official plan, we may say in that document, we don't want signs, and then we can update this.
But at this time,
At this
it
time,
can be done.
Correct.
Yes. But this time, it can be done.
This is a living document, so if we find that, through the course of this election, something didn't work very well, we could certainly bring it back for the next election.
Thank you.
Yes? Any other questions or comments?
Would that, through the chair, would that also mean the straightaways, by the sidewalks and all that
It's permitted on all township land.
right now?
Yes. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, direct staff as follows. Council approve the policy admin 2018-01, use a corporate resource for election purposes. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. And just a comment on this, I think that will make it easier for all concerned. It was not as elaborate before, and it was not as itemized, so I think that's a great thing to have. Thank you. Item number 1402, moved by Councilor Liev, seconded by Councilor Rule. Resolved that the $25,000 identified in the 2018 draft budget be transferred to reserves. And be further resolved that staff will prepare a report for council which will include costs and the proposed location for further consideration. Questions? Yes, Councillor?
Thank you, Your Worship. Along with the report, I would like to see what the proposed use of that would be. Right now we have a sign. Is it used for its fullest capacity? I don't know. And what we put on it, it has to benefit the town as a whole. I was thinking of, we had 2 events from Waterloo, talking fishing with Gordon Ellis and Stop and Tom County Sun, which would have fit nicely on that side. Other than that, I cannot see a use for it right now. I don't want to people say, well, I want to post your man for sale, that sort of thing.
But, Councillor, this is only to defer until a later time when council receives a report from staff. At that time, I think that the questions you're asking now should be answered. Not only for how many items can be posted, but who can post it, and those would be council's decision at the time. This is so that this item is removed from the budget meeting at this, or the budget at this time, so we can pass the budget as is.
If I may, technically it's not removed, it's simply put in reserve, is it not?
It is being put in reserve until it's brought back to council.
It might still remain in the budget.
It does not remain in the budget now, no.
Sorry, Your Honor, yes, it does. It would stay in the budget now, but it would be in reserves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Subject to a final decision of council to either approve that project or not.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Are there questions or comments? Yes, Councillor Rule?
Obviously, I was absent from the discussion. It was at the end of budget talks, and I had already gone, so I missed the opportunity. I think we should put that money towards paving rather than sign. So I think moving it just means it's inevitable. I'm not opposed to a sign maybe out of the wellness money down the road. We got $300,000 from nuclear waste. If we really want to get a sign, maybe through wellness, that would be community wellness, which is kind of what I think had a discussion with Mr. Plummer, and that might be a place to take it from. I just think that reserve money is extra money that we got, right? So I think that should be added on to paving. But it's not a discussion for now, but that's my...
It certainly is, Councillor, and one of the reasons why this is happening is, again, so that we can move on with the budget, and the budget has been discussed and deliberated. This item, Council wanted to review at a later date, so we've removed it under this resolution, and then we can move on with the budget. Otherwise, we could delay the budget for a long time.
Through the chair, with all due respect to Councillor Rowe's comment, if Council approves the resolution as is, the LED sign is going to come back with a report from staff. So at that point, because there was a general consensus in the room that they would approve that project, but then there was a motion put forward. So if we bring the LED sign back for discussion for Council, and it's deemed that Council as a whole did not want to proceed with that project, then at that point you could certainly allocate it to whatever. And we would try to do that in a timely fashion so that it coincides with the paving if Council decides not to proceed with the LED sign, if that meets your satisfaction.
Any other question? Yes, Councillor Liev.
Having said that, if Council votes for this, I will withdraw my notice of motion.
Okay, so we'll wait till after the vote. Thank you. And be it further resolved that staff will prepare a report for Council which will include cost and a proposed location for further consideration. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. So, Councillor Liev, you wish to remove item number 1501,
Yes, please.
and that can be done because it has not been moved or seconded. Item number 1403, report. So just to refresh everybody's memory, this item is a investigation by a Robin Klinker and also the Integrity Commissioner, Nigel Belchamber. There are two complaints included in this investigation. The first one was by Margaret Hartling, our CEO, towards Councillor Dunnell, and the second one was from Councillor Dunnell towards our CEO, Margaret Hartling. The first complaint that was dealt with by the two parties was the complaint by our CEO, Margaret Hartling, and it was found by both investigators and Integrity Commissioner that there were several under the Township Workplace and Violence Harassment Prevention Policy, there were several items that were certainly considered harassment. So we have to move on that. Also on the second complaint by Mr. Dunnell, both the investigator and the Integrity Commissioner stated that the complaint by Councillor Dunnell was found to be not of concern. Therefore, there was no harassment on our CEO's part. And of course, through all this, and you've read the report from all of it, it is posted on our website. There's been other letters of concern after that from other staff members, and this keeps on coming in. It hasn't stopped yet. And again, I have to say that both investigator and integrity commissioner did state that there was no constitution, it did not constitute harassment by RCAO, but all the information to council. So now we have to deal with this, so I'm asking at this time, is there any comments or questions towards this? Yes, Councilor Plummer?
I'm aware of one other letter of concern from a staff member. Are there others other than RCAO?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Can I ask a number?
For this other letter of concern?
Just a number, 2 or 1?
1.
Thank you.
Yes. In writing.
Yes.
Anything else?
So clarification, there's 2 then in writing.
Pardon me?
There's 2 in writing or 1?
1 other.
Okay, 1 other.
Yes. So what I propose we do with this is a resolution, and it reads as such: resolve that council is in receipt of the Integrity Commissioner's Code of Conduct investigation report, and further that as a result of council's concern regarding Councillor Dunnell's behavior towards staff members, council finds it more appropriate to suspend remunerations for 90 days. And further that Councillor Dunnell, effective immediately, is restricted from travel representing the Township of Manitowoc for the duration of this term. And further that council instruct Councillor Dunnell to direct all communication requests to the mayor unless they are of a personal nature for the duration of this term. So I'll ask for a mover and seconder.
Yes. Any commentary or?
If you want to move and second it, or if you want to make a comment on that as well.
Okay, so if you look at the recommendations from Nigel and from our investigator, we're obviously going at this point beyond what they're suggesting, but just for open dialogue and discussion and clarity and transparency, some of the things that they've already suggested have already been put on Councillor Dunnell. So really, there's not much change if we just follow their recommendation, because we've already asked him to do everything through yourself and not have. So that some of the stuff that's been recommended, we've already been practicing for a while.
Yes.
So just because it's an open meeting now, it's not closed, and we need to have that understanding, because it just seems like we're just going to go beyond without any background, which we've already done some of this stuff, and we've already done this last fall, asking for a apology.
Yes.
It never came.
Yes.
So to another individual. So this is not us just. I just want to be transparent. We're not just raising the bar above what's being suggested here in black and white. There is some history here. So that's all I wanted to.
Yeah, and then in response to that, and I'll get back to you. In response to that, Councillor, I have spoken with both the investigator and the Integrity Commissioner, and they are not aware of some of the items that are before or after this incident. Therefore, their recommendation is only a recommendation to council, and it's up to council to decide, because of the magnitude of this, to decide what should be done. Councillor Plummer?
We know this much happen. We don't later on this year there will be more issues to be dealt with, and nothing's changed. Nothing's going to change. And I agree with Councillor Ruel, we've already suspended Councillor Nuttall's pay one time. He's been removed from various boards. He has been suspended from travel for a period of time to no avail, and the harassment has continued on. we're at the end of our line here. There's nothing else we can do, but do what we've done already. And hopefully something will change.
Thank you.
Can I make one further?
Yes.
Through the chair. I wonder if I could just make suggest amendment to your suggestion or what you're asking for us to agree to. I wonder if we did the 90 days suspension and suspend travel not for the rest of term, but until he does some of the things that he's been asked to do. Because otherwise, if we do all that, there's no motivation to do any of the things that they've asked for, which is anti-harassment training. And so I would suggest that we do the 90-day suspension and no travel until these things are done, as opposed to the rest of term. Because really what we've done is the term is almost over. It's over in November, right? So we basically just said you're done in a sense. So there really is no opportunity for him to do some of the other stuff that the recommendations have done, which is anti-harassment training.
So, Councillor, what you are saying is you feel that if Councillor Dunno has some training, that will stop the harassment?
I'm just citing the recommendations from both the Integrity Commissioner and they both said they should go to anti-harassment training. But there's no motivation if we do those two other things. There's no motivation for what I can see for him to do that. So if he does the anti-harassment training, then he could travel again in the future, whether it's in August or in the fall. If he does the anti-harassment training, if he doesn't, then it's the rest of the term. Until he does the anti-harassment training, he can't travel. That's the difference. That's the change I'm asking you to consider.
Councillor Plummer?
We sat through about 6 hours and I can't remember what it was called, but it was
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct training. It's not harassment training, but it was loud and clear as to what we were up to. And absolutely nothing came of that. The end result was I still don't see anything to make me whole. Expecting a leopard to change its spots will not happen. I would rather have the mild on travel effective immediately in the term.
I'm also of the same mind. Hopefully, if this is passed, Councillor Dunno will realize that Council is of one mind on this, and this harassment is stopped, and not only for staff, but in between councillors as well. But we have to protect our staff. It's our duty, and I think that by going to as much as we can, it shows that we are serious, and hopefully that will be taken as such, and possibility of change would be there. So Councillor Rule, I find that there are two that are going for this, so I will read it again. Resolved that Council is in receipt of the Integrity Commissioner's Code of Conduct Investigation Report. And further that as a result of Council's concern regarding Councillor Dunno's behavior towards staff member, Council finds it more appropriate to suspend remuneration for 90 days. And further that Councillor Dunno, effective immediately, is restricted from travel representing the Township of Manitowoc for the duration of this term. And further that Council instructs Councillor Dunno to direct all communications and requests through the Mayor unless they are of a personal nature for the duration of this term. All in favor?
Point of information, Your Worship. We have a prior motion authorizing travel. Do we have to rescind that?
No, because the prior motion was up until the investigation is complete.
Thank you.
Can you bring clarity to the last statement on that? Personal reasons, I don't understand.
And further that Council instructs Councillor Dunno to direct all communications and requests through the mayor unless they are of a personal nature for the duration of this term. Personal nature really is something that Councilor Dunno needs to talk to our staff about. That does not concern council. It is of personal nature. We've discussed that, and there are means for protection in that situation as well. But I could not interfere or ask Councilor Dunno anything about personal stuff if he doesn't want to, and that's why that's there.
Oh, as a citizen, I mean personal, as a citizen comes in for his water tax or his, is that what you're talking about? I don't understand what personal.
If Councilor Dunno, for example, had a problem with taxes, for example,
Yeah.
he then could go and talk.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
All in favor? Opposed, none, carried. Thank you. Thank you. Last item, moved by Councilor Rule, seconded by Councilor Dunno. Resolved that the regular meeting adjourn at the hour of 7:47 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Thank you very much, everyone.